Hello, hello, and welcome to tonight's stream, where maybe you get to see us break some stuff. Either way, it's guaranteed to be a fun stream. Well, maybe not fun, but who knows? Enjoyable, to say the least. Either way, we are live, and we are going to be taking a look at something I've been putting some time into, let's just say. My wife bought me an amazing 3D printer for Christmas, and I have been doing it with that thing for a little while. And well, I've been playing with it for a little while, and just hoping it's been hopefully we can have some fun tonight. Let's just say that. Well, let's maybe start off with the design of it. So, talking about goals with the design, I want it to be as small as possible. So, really, I was going to definitely be using a small, on and focus, going to be using a small form factor power supply. This baby's a 450 watt gold power supply. And if you want to see like just how small these things are compared to like a standard like ATX power supply. So here I've got like EVGA 850 GQ next to this thing, and this thing just is absolutely tiny. And these you can get small form factor ones in like 1200 watts, possibly even more. But at least I think I've seen them around 1200 watts, and they're like this big, which is absolutely insane to me. So obviously we're going to have one of these. Ideally, if you want a really small form factor PC, you're not going to get a dual slot 240 millimeter long card. You're going to want a card that's probably around like 180 millimeters or shorter. And also too, probably one that, especially if it's not going to be like some hardcore gaming PC, you're going to be wanting to have something that's a lot smaller. Because smaller is better. Obviously, you're going to want to have an ITX motherboard. This is just some cheapo that I have off of AliExpress. And really what I wanted to do with this build was to have something that was really small, but really cheap. Like I already owned this. I already owned this. I got the CPU for free. The motherboard from AliExpress was like $40, and it also came with a stick of RAM. I already had a 1 terabyte NVMe that this startlingly this B75 motherboard. So it's i5 3570 is in there right now, and it's a third gen, well before they had NVMe drives. And yeah, so this board somehow accepts that. This is actually a decent little drive. Picked up a couple years ago. It has a DRAM and it's 1 terabyte. Got it from around 90-ish bucks back in the day, but that actually was not a bad deal then. It's still not a bad deal now. So on to the actual case itself. So I wanted to 3D print it, and part of 3D printing is also some post-processing items. So here's one of the, I've got this marked because this is for the GPU side, because I did two parts like this that are roughly identical, but because I had to do some custom shaping, so I didn't, so this part here is not a single part. This is actually a part that's bolted on to this other part, and I'm gonna grab quickly one of the off cut ones, like the ones that didn't quite make the cut, because this is a big huge ordeal of trial and error, and there's a lot of learning that was going on in this. Yeah, so like part of that was even just like learning the software for the slicer, and I was unfortunately like a noob using the slicer that came with it. Upon talking to some people who are much more experienced in 3D printing, the the reality is that probably shouldn't have been using that slicer, and there's much better slicers out there. And slicer basically is it's basically the software that takes the STL file and turns it into turns it into a it turns it into a file that the 3D printer can read and print. So I'm actually just gonna quickly I'm like stumbling right now because I'm like sharing this stream with a few different people that might be interested. And just want to see if they're down to watch. So let's get into it though. This was actually a really big learning experience, specifically too, even with these parts. So these are parts that I made for the corners. So these are corner pieces. I have little places here on the tops. That's the bottom tops where I had a recess to put in a magnet because I wanted a magnetic top that just sort of sits on top. And then on the very bottom, I had some hot melt inserts that I put in because I wanted to be able to bolt the bottom piece, or at least screw the bottom piece on. This one here is one where I was a little bit aggressive with taking the pieces out. Let's see if we can get it up here in focus. Yeah, I was just a little bit aggressive when taking the piece out here, and this is a little bit bent, broken. I could probably glue it, but yeah, so there you can see the recess. And then there's also yeah, there's the recess for the magnet, and then here's the pilot hole for the melt insert. And so I just grabbed like some melt inserts off of, well, AliExpress is probably a better place to get them, but I got some from Amazon just because I wanted them quickly. So the inserts in these on the bottoms are the M3 H6 inserts, and then I also have inserts on the panels themselves. I don't know if you can see it. Actually, here, we can put it here. You can see it right there. Inserts on the panels themselves. Those were a treat to put in. Those are M2.5 by 2.5, so they're like 2.5 mil high and 2.5 mil thread. So those are sort of spread throughout. Also, too, I've got on the actual motherboard tray, I've got these massive posts that the motherboard sits on, and in them I have some M3 ones. This base is very, very, very thin, but it's relatively consistent, which is actually kind of impressive as far as like just on the bed, the way that it was able to sit. Here I've got a spot just in case I wanted to add a fan on this side, inside of this. I was like thinking there might be room, but there was definitely not any room. So we're going to be just sort of going through this, putting it together, and sort of talking about things that I learned along the way, because there definitely is some stuff that I learned along the way with this. So I'm just going to stack some of these parts over here. At the end of the day, I did build this piece here, which is to hold it up off of the ground because it needs to be sort of elevated so the power supply can breathe. All right, come on. All right, so first things first, we're gonna do a quick PC build here. Just a very quick, as far as like getting this motherboard together, right? I'm using just a stock Intel cooler on this. I'm just gonna put some, and this is, since this is just for like a home theater PC, I'm not like super concerned as far as like how well this is going to be cooled. The only issue with this motherboard is, since it's such a cheapo motherboard, there is only a 3-pin fan connector. So yeah, we're going full speed all the time. Also, this is a slightly damaged one, so I'm gonna just try and get it in. Let's try and get it in, as they say. Get that there, here. This guy here. This top one is sort of the troublesome one. I'm gonna go this way, I believe, to lock those, and then we can push that in, push this in, push this in, push that in. Boom. Cooler is installed. And then this is gonna need to sort of be wrapped underneath here, out of the way. We have a single stick of 8 gigs DDR3. I'll probably find a kit on Amazon or something. There's some 16 gig ones, or even just find another 8 gig stick to pop in there for super cheap. I think there's like a 16 gig kit on like Amazon is like, I don't know, like $30 or something. So should be able to find another 8 gig stick for around 16ish. This already has Windows on it, so this is gonna be literally the quickest PC build ever. So I'm just gonna plug these things in that are a little bit hefty and a little bit tough before it goes into the case, because I don't want to risk breaking these. This was a 17-hour part for some reason. I think it's mostly because I went slow on it. Oh man, look at this. This is gonna be a bit of an ugly one, cable management wise. Just because this has like the CPU cable is like right there. Yeah, we might just have to wrap that around underneath, but yeah, such is life. So yeah, that's basically it for assembling the PC part of it. Now it's more so going to be about getting it in the case. On here, we do want plug our cables in. I'm just gonna place this guy here. One of the other considerations that I think had I like, if I was to reprint everything all over again, what I would be sort of considering in it would be, let's see, we're gonna ID SATA. Here is our EPS, yeah. Here's our 24. But yeah, if I was to sort of be considering all this, let's just make sure all our connectors are nice and plugged in. We'll be rough while we can, while it's outside of the case. Yeah, I would be opening up tolerances probably on a lot of things. This here is not, like, it actually slides in there really nicely, which ended up working out perfectly. But on this part here, you can see there, I've been sort of melting and grinding so that that would actually fit in there, because that sort of is supposed to sit there. So I added enough space for it to sit in there comfortably, which I thought was, all right, we'll do it like that. So this is connected. This guy now, I'm going to flip it around. And also we're going to look at something else here, because a big part of this is like, if you're going to do something really small like this, you're probably going to want to like be getting more custom cable lengths. Me, I was like thinking, okay, I want to get what I have and I want to use what I have. So this is going to be basically how we're going to finagle this. This, I probably would have put a bracket or a screw to hold it, but you'll see how finicky that is after we get this on. So this is going to go on here, and those are going to be screwed into place. Oops, there we go. That one in, and then we're going to go ahead and shift this one down here. And it's nice how these all sort of align so nicely. I'm very happy about that. But as I was designing this, I didn't really take too much into consideration as far as the, see here, we got this thing's a little bit off, but if we just give it a little bit of a push, it shifts in there and fits. So there, motherboard is in, power supply is kind of in, but you can see there, it's all sort of sitting in there nicely. And we've got our little spot here. Now this spot here has a ridge, and this ridge is going to have the GPU sitting on top of that. So actually the GPU, I took the IO plate off. Come on, camera, focus. There we go. So I took the IO plate off because this thing is quite high, and I needed to move this as low as possible in the case to clear the very top with this connector. Now this is a Cooler Master extension, and thankfully, since it's not like a paracord one, it can bend. I have one here that I nearly and that one there is actually, it's a dual one. This is actually for like a 3080, 3090. Here's one I had that was for the 3090 I had. And this one actually, the one piece was kind of loose in here, and I almost killed my 3090 with it, but it didn't die. But this here, like trying to bend that low, is just gonna, it's just gonna start pulling things out. So not good. This thing actually bends quite easily down. So beautiful. So we've got this in. We've got our cables flopping out here. I had high hopes about like just nice cable management, but you know what? Sometimes you just need to give up on perfection. Actually, you know what? Let's see here. I can loosen this out. Come on, there we go. Let's see. Can we move this guy? Can we just scooch it in here? Maybe. I don't think it's gonna fit there. But what if I take it through here and use it to pull? No, that is just ugly. Oh, that's just terrible looking. We'll bundle that later. I was like, can we just like sort of help get that out of the way with that? It's not quite. These are just a little bit nasty looking. All right, we'll try it like so. And we'll bundle this later. Maybe just sort of tuck it under here or something. See if it'll stay in there forever and ever and never come out. And then we'll bring this around here. And then, yeah, just plug her in under here. Gotta get my head in there and see. Okay. Yeah, it's gotta have the cable thing down. This has got to, this has got to go in like so. And it's gonna down right there. This guy is gonna go here. That's maybe gonna be a little bit nicer than it was originally, but yeah, like I said, I had high hopes that I could have like nice cable management in here, but you know what? You don't always get what you want in life, okay? Let's see. This actually like so, that might work. Yeah, that probably shouldn't be hitting that. We'll see. We'll see. It might have to sit on top. Oh no, that sitting on top is not going to be good. Oh, that's really close to that. We'll see. If it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out. Either way, this is going to be on top of here, and it's going to be ugly as well. It is going to be ugly. Let's just admit it. Look at this. It's going to be a cable mess. So maybe we'll just, maybe this will help keep that down. Maybe we'll just sort of, that is not going to want to cooperate, guaranteed. We'll see. Hey, we'll see. Maybe we'll be able to, I don't know, run that over top of that. Oh, it pains me. It pains me. Oh, thanks. Yes, this is an ITX board. It's such a small... No, I mean, it's an ATX board, and I've got massive hands, K-Med. They're massive. Just look at that. Huge. You know what they say. I'm kidding. No, it's a little baby. it's a little baby ITX. And thanks, Annie. I'm happy with how it printed. I think it could have been better. Like the base layer was a little bit weird as far as the texture on it and the lines. Let me see if I can get this to focus. Yeah, there you can see it a little better. You know, but overall, I'm kind of happy. I'm really happy with sort of how this sort of stuff here worked out. But let's shift this off to the side, and we're gonna assemble the case. And an interesting thing with the design I chose, because I took the IO bracket off here, yeah, I could have smoothed it, done some painting. There's a few other things that I could have done too, as far as like post-process stuff. I could have done some annealing on some of it. I've tried annealing on a bit of it, but let me just get some of this though put together here. I'm gonna put this guy, I'm gonna put this guy over here for now. And this is the opposite of the GPU. So this guy is going here. The magnets on these go up. Those are the magnets. And then here's the screw holes. In these we have, I have little countersunk holes. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus here. Yeah, we got some countersunk holes right here, and those will then bolt into these, which have just a little bit of a recess, so you actually don't end up seeing the hardware, which is a nice little aspect to it. Yeah, so this guy's going to go into this one here and into this one here. This was a pain in the butt because I didn't leave enough room for these, so it was a lot of grinding and such, but overall it worked out. It worked out in the end. So here I've got like some very tiny, these are M2.5 by 3 mil screws. Yeah. And they are not magnetic at all, which is a pain. I'm like, okay, high quality stainless, considering the price I paid for them, doubtful. But let's put these in. So there we go. So these actually, they screw in pretty nicely. And I've got these brass inserts, right, which I'm using to fasten these in. So no worries about like threading, or not threading, but like stripping threads. Although, let me tell you, I really jumped into the fire with this one, just trying to put them in. It was like a real pain in the butt. And putting it into PLA is very, a little bit trickier than normal. I don't know, maybe not normal. I don't know, what is normal, really? What is normal, Why is this guy not even gripping? Why are you not even gripping? What you got? What you got going on here, Tripping? Yeah, these things, I'm going to loosen this a bit. It's a bit of a finicky process. And like I was saying, if I was to go back to the drawing board and redesign this, I would probably open up tolerances, let's just say. Let's see. Why are you not gripping? Oh, you are gripping. Maybe you're stripping. Nope, you're not gripping, nor are you stripping. Not gripping or stripping. This is unacceptable. Let's see here. I'm going to get a little bit closer here and see what's going on with this. Oh, it should be fitting. Let's see. There. I think I got it. No, I didn't. Maybe I just need to try a longer screw. See if it goes in. So this here's a 4 mil. See though, this is so long that it'll punch through potentially. Does it? Not exactly. All right, we'll leave it. I'll allow it. So maybe not all of them will be 2.5. That one was a 3. Was it a 3? No, it's a 4 mil. Yeah. Oh, it was a 6 mil. So I started with 4s. Yeah. And then I think I need another 6 mil for another part of it. Oops. That was a little loud. 1,000 apologies. All right, so this guy now is going to go on here. Like so. And this gets a little bit tedious. I've seen some people do it with like a slide-in piece, which is nice too. But me, I wanted to experiment a bit with these melt inserts and just sort of see like what can these really do. Okay, that one's in. These inserts, they're not these inserts. The hardware is like very soft metal. Like, I don't know. Again, I doubt it's stainless steel, but and you can see there's a bit of warpage sort of going on here, but oh, there we go. Maybe, no? Why won't you go in, hmm? Why won't you just go in? Just do it. There we go. Maybe? Maybe? Nope. All right, we're going long again. We're going long. Maybe I should just do it with the long screws instead, because it doesn't seem like they're poking out any further than they really ought to. So I'm just gonna fetch a few more of those, just in case. All right. So now that I have it like this is actually a recess that I have built in to fit the GPU. This is actually sits right on this back profile here. And then there's 2 screw holes here. There's 2 threaded holes that I actually use a bolt through here to secure it on. So we're going to put this on right now. I'm going to do it like so. So it's going to sit in there like this. And this is like just how the extent I was going to try and like fit as much GPU in this as possible. Oof, that was the sound of a crack. Thankfully, it's not a bad one, I don't think. But yeah, these back ones are actually 3 M3s. So we'll just go through. Oops. You can see there's a little bit, again, the tolerancing on this probably could have been a bit better. Could have had maybe a smaller hole there. Let's see if we can get this to focus. Oh, it's just not wanting to, oh, there it is, kind of. So these screws, actually, they fit in so nicely. And this here is a hole that I just sort of melted in it to hold the power button. And we'll get to that later. So first, though, we're going to put it like so. And then we put this part on. So this will slide into here. And then this will slide into here. And this thing just fits on like a glove. Like a glove. So I'm going to screw these guys in around here. So these are just, I'm just using the holes that the IO plate was holding on with. And this is a part that I was actually really happy with. There's a piece that went here that I cut off just because it was annoying and it was kind of warped up. But this right here, 0 adjustment, and it's like it fits like almost dead nuts on. And I'm like super proud of myself for that. Not really. I don't know how I can be proud of myself, because it's like the printer did the work. I designed it, but I didn't like go like all out with like running calculations on like how this should be, have, you know, this amount of clearance and whatnot. But this is something again too, like this gets really thin here. These panels overall, I think they're about 4 millimeters thick, but I have them running down to like 1 mil just because I wanted to take an extra 6 mil off of the overall length of it to bring it down to 7 liters. So a lot of compromises were made to hit that 7-liter goal. And let me tell you, that 7-liter goal would be a whole lot easier with a shorter GPU. So there we go. That's in. Now I'm going to flip this because these haven't been secured on yet. And I'm going to run in some screws. There's access here to the one screw. And we'll try it with the short screws. And if the short screws give me trouble, then we'll get the long ones and be done with it. That one seems to be, this one seems to be attaching all right. You see. Yeah. Well torqued. Torque it. Torquing. And we'll try the other side. It's kind of fun just being able to, because I also was taking into consideration, like, okay, I need to make sure that these are accessible as well. And there we go, nicely done, nicely done. And these corner pieces, right, which I'm screwing in through these actually used to be solid corner pieces, but in order to fit the GPU as far out to the one side to minimize the width of it, I did these cutaways, which allow for the GPU to almost go right up against. And once this is all screwed together, I'll put it to the camera to show it a little bit. The GPU I'm cramming in here, KMed, is a 3060 Ti Founders Edition. So it's definitely not the smallest that you can get. It's not a huge one, right? But it's definitely not the smallest. Like you could get a lot smaller ones. There's like 4060s that you can get that are single fan, and they're only the length of an ITX board. This is actually longer than the ITX board, so you're giving up a little bit as well in that regard. But here, I'm gonna flip this now, and I'm gonna show just how close this guy gets to the edge. So like right here, it's right on the edge there, and it clears the fans, but thankfully, though, we've got this mesh here, right? So we've got like full airflow to it. If it wants, it can breathe freely, even though it's like almost right up against. And the good news is that this silver part here is actually protruding far enough that it'll keep this grill away from the fan blades. So I don't have to worry about it interfering with those. So it's pretty good being able to have it. So it's actually kind of neat that I was able to make it so that this GPU is actually kind of an integral part to the actual structure of this. And here we go with one of the first things that I'm like, design wise, I didn't think too much about. Thankfully I did a test fit up and it works. But yeah, I'll let you all see how this turns out here. Let's get these guys bundled. This is gonna have to plug into this somehow, but there's no access. So watch this. This is a little trick called faking it until you make it. So this is gonna slide over. I'm gonna bring this way so you can see just the carnage. And this is probably the most likely spot where you're gonna see a part breaking. So do stay tuned and do watch very closely. Oh, come on. Oh, I didn't test fit it with the motherboard cable plugged in, and that thing is a pig. Okay, come on. Come on, girl. There we go. Make sure that clears so that slides down. All right, so we're there, but we're not there. We need to bring this back up now. I need to bring this up and then push this cable onto this. Click, click, boom. There we go. We're in. we're in. And now this has to be able to slide down. So we shift this, we shift this, we shift this, and I believe we're really close. We're really close. This goes down, and then we're almost there. We're almost there. I'm gonna attach the PSU here. Where did I put those power supply bolts? I had some, and I don't know where I put them. Did I throw them? I threw them away, but did I put them away? That's the real question. I don't think I did. Here's some for power supply is what it says on there. Oh, powered by Corsair? No, it's not powered by Corsair. That's my other power supply. Here we go. So we got our GPU. We got our power supply hardware here. And of course, I have to use the best screwdriver known to man, which is the Be Quiet screwdriver with the magnetized tip. This thing is just absolutely splendid. Let's see here. Gotta get these holes to align. That's the key. This was a big pain in the tuchus before, because there wasn't a gap here for it to fit. At least you can kind of see what's going on here. So this panel is largely solid. I tried to print that as solid as possible. So fits nicely now. Yes, indeed it does. I'll move this one down to the very bottom. And there we have the power supply installed. Right. There we go. All right. So this thing here is a pain. This thing here is now going to need to plug into these. Now here's the funny thing. It's a 450 power supply and it has only one 6-pin and one 4-pin. Good news is that this extension here only has 2 6-pins populated. So hot dog. I'm not too concerned with just how this is going to sort of shape up as far as the risk of overpowering or underpowering this. Just because this is a 450 power supply, and that is totally fine for a 450 GPU. Oh, this thing is such a pig. There we go. Just fold these down nicely. Man, how did you get up there? Get down there. Get down. Get down. It's like just mashing these cables in here. Here's the key part where that bottom section is going to need to sit on something, and I'm going to try and fasten it to this. Just going to try and see, because it would be nice for it to be up a little bit. And two, if I can fasten this in, it will make it significantly stronger just overall. So let's see if I can get these to work with it. I wasn't able to before, and it was a big pain in the butt trying to get it all together, but we'll see if we can do this. It's already a big pain in the butt. Come on. I'm just doing this it's kind of off screen, so sorry about that, but it's kind of how this has to go. Actually, this one would be a pain, so I might even skip that one specifically, and we'll try and get this one in right here, just because I don't want to flip it upside down, because things will flop potentially around. Or maybe I should put it upside down. Oh, this one's in. It's in. Yeah, this is where things get a little wonky. So I'm gonna try loosening a bit, at least the just because this is going to pull these corners, and these corners need to align with this base, and it's kind of a little bit of a trick right now. So I'm gonna loosen this just to see if that gives me a bit more leeway, and I might loosen these power supply bolts too. See if they give me a bit more leeway as well. Just because it's a very sensitive operation here. Loosen that. Loosen that. Hey, Ampere. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, 1500 watt PSU. Yeah, right. This is a 450 watt PSU. With cables made in, I don't know, made out of who knows what. Something wild. Should I try flipping it upside down? Maybe I will try flipping it upside down. Maybe I should. Please don't break. Please don't break. Boop. Oof. Now we can see how this is not aligned. And how that is even in there, I don't know. Let's see. This is a... that's just not on. So this is the tricky part, is like just trying to get this whole thing even aligned. So I've got that power supply in there. I'm wondering is it just not wanting to just try loosening these bottom ones off completely. I've got these clearances here, and again, if I was to go back and if I was to redo this, I'd definitely be redoing these clearances. See, with nothing in it, they align. And I think just things start shifting. And because they start shifting, it gets a little bit hectic, a little bit hairy, a little bit wonky. Let's see, maybe if I just put that like so, maybe if I align it like this, it'll help. No, that does not help at all. Not one bit. All right, we'll flop it back over like so. I'm just thankful nothing's breaking right now, because that is like, that's my primary fear with what's going on here. And we'll see. I'll plop this guy like so. And I'll just set it on here for now, like so. And let me see if I can even get, does this guy even align? Yeah, they do align. They do align. The stars are aligning, but they're just not wanting to cooperate. Oh. No thanks. No thanks. All right, we'll leave it like that for now. But I'm going to tighten these back in just so we're back to ship shape here. I'll have to be looking at how I can remedy that, whether it's just adding a different hole on the bottom so I can sandwich this base plate with this spacing piece here, but gotta spit on it and make it fit. Oh my gosh, Kevin, you would. Oh geez, that's hilarious. But let me see. Yeah, we're gonna tighten in these power supply pieces. Come, power supply, come closer. There we go. Just putting it in so that the power supply fits was a bit of a victory in of itself. I may still at some point do at least something to align these together, whether or not they actually go through the holes in the base or not remains to be seen. But yeah, we got one more thing here. We got our power button. Boop, boop. This is from a while ago. I made a PC for my wife that was like very custom as well. But at the time, I didn't have a 3D printer. So what I did was I took an IKEA medicine cabinet and I used a Dremel and just cut out all the plastic I didn't want. It was nice. It was a little wall-mounted piece that I made for her, and she liked it a lot. Let's see. All right, got our power button here. Just put that on there, like so. Boop. And let me see. This is always the tricky part with a lot of this stuff. Yeah, there we go. There's the power switch. And I'll just push that down in there. And let's see. Should we fire it up, guys? Should we fire it up and see? Okay. It's just touching on that. Just touching. Yeah, maybe we'll leave that like so. Should we fire it up and see if it works? Should we? We've connected a bunch of things. Might as well, right? Almost missed the finishing touch here. The crowning achievement on this is, of course, the top, which does fit, or at least did fit before I tried putting these other cords in. But there we go. We've got it all together, although not together how I was hoping. I was hoping I could have gotten these to fit a little better, but you know what? You don't get what you want always in life. So let me see if I got my cable here that I can run into it and plug into it. Where are you? Okay, there it is. I'll plug this guy in here. Boop. And I've got, let's see. Got my one monitor. Got my one monitor here, which has a HDMI. So plug that guy in there. And we'll see, huh? Let's see if we're gonna blow this thing up or if it's going to work. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you think this thing's gonna blow up? Or is it gonna boot up or blow up? Let's see. Well, there is no post beep because there's no speaker in there because I wanted to save room. But I'll tell you this much. I think, oh yeah. This baby's working. Let me just quickly finagle some equipment here so I can prove it. Okay. Man, oh man. Oh. There we go. That's nice. I'm just going to plug a mouse into it. Here. I can move my stuff around. And then, let's see. I've got an extra streaming card here. So let's maybe bypass it through here. I'll pop it on the screen and you guys can see it for yourselves. You like this screwdriver? It's nice and big. It's the perfect size. Now be quiet about it. Let's see. I've got my See, I wasn't really even planning ahead for this. Okay, we'll plug that guy in. Now we've got our HDMI in, and then our out. So our out, this guy's going to go into our out. And where is our in going to be? Actually, no. I had a cable. The problem. I have things and then I clean it up and then I don't know where it goes or where it went. Is that it? No, it's another USB-C. Thick USB-C, but just another USB-C. You down with USB-C? Yeah, you and me. Let's see. There we go. I know what to do now. All right, we're gonna do it like so. This guy is going to go into here. What am I doing here? That's gonna go into here. Yes. That is going to. This guy's gonna go here. Oh, there's the short one. Okay, yeah. Okay. Now I think I got it. Yes, this goes in, and we're gonna plug this into here as the input. See me get to fiddle with trying to hook up a card, capture card here. And we are on. Beautiful. So now to get my mouse for my computer, and we will add this in. Let's see, top down capture. We are going to add in. Let me just add in a game capture. Cancel. Now I'm going to add in video capture device. Yes, this will be XR1 2. Okay. Existing. Be this one. Just bring this one to the front. Sorry about the time here, but move this guy to the top. Properties. Going to be this one. There it is. All right. Okay, I'm gonna make this a little smaller. And yeah, we'll bring it. Let's put it right here. Yeah. Okay. We will go like so. And there we go. This is this other computer here. So we'll open up hardware info. And yeah, we'll start this. I'm contorting that wrist. You better believe it, Ampere. And let's see what we got going on here. CPU core temperature 30 Celsius. Well, 29 Celsius, 28. Beautiful. Here we can see that we have a Core i5 3570 enhanced. It's super enhanced, guys. Memory. Oh yeah, that memory clock. Wild. And our GPU is sitting at a 33.6 degrees Celsius at idle. So there we go. We've got our computer here running and alive. So as you can see this here, I'm going to shut it down and then you'll be able to see there the this fan's going to stop running. and it shuts down. No video. Boom. There we go. And let's maybe turn it back on. See what happens. Okay. Doot. Loading. This is the Vin Diesel computer. Family. I got family. So there you go. Beautiful, isn't it? I'll shut this back down. She runs. She boots. She scoots. So I'm just gonna properties. Okay, so I'm just gonna hide this guy. And so we're back in business here. All right. Plug this. Oop. Unplug this. Unplug this. And of course, we'll disconnect this guy here too. Oh, oops. So there we have it. It connects, it runs. I'm gonna have to probably think about doing maybe some different things with it, as far as adding some holes underneath here in order to get this in a state where it's like more I can just pick it up and move it. Right now I've got to be way too careful. I probably have to bend some of these wires down a bit more. Last time I put it together, I didn't have the power supply cables in, namely the this one here is bumping it up. This guy here, I do need to bend it down a bit more, but no fire. That was nice. So there we go. She's together. Boop. There with our power button. Boop. And a bundle of cables in there that I need to deal with, but not bad as far as a learning experience. I think I need to look a bit more into post print processing. You know, I want to do a bit more research into annealing, because annealing can do a lot with PLA. So this whole thing is printed in PLA. I'm gonna probably use a torch to smooth some of these things down. But overall, I'm very, very pleased with how it turned out. Very pleased with just the support too that people have been providing, just in like, you know, liking the stuff and, you know, getting excited about it with me. To me, that's like such a great support, is when people are like excited about the things that excite you. My next goal is to actually do another iteration of this, but except with a ITX length GPU. So right now you see this GPU, it extends beyond the edge of the motherboard here. An ITX GPU would be a lot shorter. Also too, I might get like a half GPU slot height. So this is a full height double slot. I might get something that's like a single slot. Also too, maybe something that's like a little bit shorter. I do have an A4000 that I could put in here, but that might be a little bit of an overkill. And that A4000 would fit in here way easier. I could, you know, shrink a whole other slot. Yeah, no, you know what? Making it a bit taller. Here's the thing, is the main thing with this is I wanted it to be 7 liters, and that was sort of my goal. Overall, as far as like having a livable PC, I probably wouldn't have, I would prioritize it being more of a livable PC, right? Something that's a little bit easier to work on, a little bit easier to put the GPU in without like having to like slide it down slightly, clip the the power supply or the PCIe cable on, maybe even having like a better PCIe cable. Like this is a 600, I think this is a 3, no, is this 3 or 600? I think this is a 600 millimeter uh cable. So like this is like way longer than it really needs to be. I could maybe get like a shorter one that would fit in there a little easier. Probably getting a motherboard that has better positioned power connectors. One that doesn't have just a single 3-pin fan connector, so your fan's running at like 100%. I had an area here that I was thinking of putting a fan on, so I could fit a fan on here. Exterior I could, but I wouldn't want to do it on the exterior. You know, I was thinking I could potentially fit like a fan inside of here, but again, you see the cables here, it's just like an absolute mess. I could mount it here on the outside, probably, but again, this power button was a last minute addition for tonight, where I melted out the spot here for it. If I was to do it again, obviously I would have a spot for the power cable. I would probably have maybe even a USB 3.0 for like the panel that's going to be towards the front. This here is going to be sort of facing towards the outside, so this will be facing towards the couch this side. So push the power button and run it. It's really going to be mostly for like running emulators and stuff. So this GPU is going to be way underutilized. Oh, it doesn't sound like anything. The fans are barely running on it. I'm pretty sure this GPU could run, it would run very quietly. Well, the case on this side here is basically just mesh, right? It's almost like there's nothing there in general. But I don't think it would be too loud. But, you know, even to having this maybe even just a little bit bigger, just so there's a little bit more space, maybe big enough here to run the cable. I think you were talking about that, Ani. But, you know, so there's very little, like, the airflow on this thing is absolutely beautiful. Like, and two, I'm even gonna potentially, this part here, if I had this running, this would be like almost like an intake fan, because this is a pass-through design on these GPUs. And what I was actually debating was even like getting a water block, because if I get a water block, basically the GPU becomes this long and 1 slot wide. So it becomes absolutely tiny. And then in this space, I could have the pump reservoir potentially, and then a block here. But the issue is that it would have to be taller. But it wouldn't have to be that much taller. I would maybe have to make it like maybe like an inch taller, so like 25 mil taller, to have the room for the fittings coming out of the block, depending on the block design. But ideally, I'd want a really short block, and then put like a water pump here, and then I could have a water block here, and maybe a 120 mil rad here potentially. And that would be kind of fun. But again, maybe make it even wider by about another like 25 mil, 25, 30. Actually, no, like maybe another 50 mil wider this way, and then have it big enough to have a 240 mil rad here, where I'll have the block, pump, rad, and then a box here for the cables to all run into. So it would be a lot of fun. To even try and do like a miniature water cooling build. So that's another thing that's sort of popping into my head, is like, not popping into my head, but sort of floating around in my head, is potentially doing like a small like water block build. But again, my goal with this was to buy as few things as possible. All I bought for this was this cable, which was 17 bucks on Amazon, and this motherboard and this stick of RAM, which is also like 40 bucks on AliExpress. The rest of this was just stuff I had sitting around. And then maybe like, also I bought like the magnets. I bought the hot melt inserts and the little hardware kit. That was about, actually, these were probably the more, this stack here was probably the most expensive right here. Wait, where's my little magnets? Oh yeah, here's the little magnets that I got. So this stack here of stuff was more expensive than the stuff I bought to put in this. So my goal of it was like I wanted to spend as little as possible to make something that was as small as possible, with the minimal budget. I am contemplating at some point potentially getting like a very small Intel Arc A380, but with this board it doesn't make sense. I'd like to have it on a board that has PCIe 4.0. So that might be a further in the future kind of build. But it would be really nice to even like have, yeah, like a 240 mil rad right here. And maybe even have it integrated, because this here is about 240 mil long as well. So, or who knows, maybe I have a 240 mil rad here, and then I just have the GPU sitting flat here or something, with a water block on it. So, who knows? Or maybe have it running this way with a water block on it, because it's very short as well. So there's a lot of different things that are sort of like floating in my head, and I just love the how like having the printer opens up so many different possibilities for me, as far as like what can be designed and what can be done, and I can explore like so many crazy ideas, which makes me super excited, and which I love about this. So I'm like super happy. Like this is like one of the best presents I've ever gotten. So I'm so happy. My wife is awesome for getting this for me. So it allows me to build PCs with less money invested. But yeah, I need to also check out what's going on with all this. But there we go. But yeah, super happy with it though. Overall, a lot of learning though. I think I need to do some better dimensional studies on like the capabilities of the printer, just to get a better handle on the shrinkage of this. And who knows, maybe even like printing these as a single part would be a lot better. Just because there is like, as I was trimming these, there was a lot of like extra trimming that went into this. So these are probably not dimensionally hole to hole or magnet to magnet here accurate anymore to how they were before. So it's a bit of bit of it has shifted as a result of that as well. So I'm very like, also too, probably having an access point here to like to remove that power supply without needing to lift this whole thing off and then get at it. That's probably another design consideration. But probably, yeah, my favorite part of this was just being able to like carve away into this frame and just have like the GPU click in there. Like this GPU is not moving anywhere. This is probably the most solidly affixed part on here, aside from maybe the GPU, which is sitting in that or the PSU, which is sitting in that little tray underneath. Whew, I need to drink more beer. My throat is getting sore. Maybe I need to talk less. See, that's the thing, is when I'm doing gaming, I don't have to talk as much. I let the game do some of the talking, but this is the stuff that really, this is what I'm much more passionate about. I love gaming and that, but I love designing, creating, building. Like this to me is just like, this is like the most wonderful use of time. That is, I don't know. I just love putting things together, and seeing it all fit together as well was such a rewarding experience. Obviously, yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement. I'm thinking about getting a better slicer program for designing these parts and putting them, getting them maybe a little bit more accurately done. Doing a bit more of a solid fill on some of them. But overall, it's a great experience. I was testing out on a bad part. So like you see here, like the good parts, like here's one of the bad parts right here. I accidentally, I don't know what the settings I did in the slicer, but this basically was like paper thin here, like absolutely paper thin. And this is like this part. That's this part right here. And it was way, way too thin. I even tried, like, I was trying just seeing what happens when you hit it with a heat gun, and it just absolutely just blasted this apart. But overall, here you can see sort of a bit more design-wise of what was going on. Like, these are quite thick. Here's actually the supports. So probably getting a slicer program that has a little bit better programming on these supports, because these supports here, like they are, some of them they're a real pain in the butt to get out. And there we go. So it breaks off just fine, but then you're left with this really rough spot here, and this does not want to fit inside of this piece here, right? So these are the other pieces that I was putting together. So this just, it requires a lot more post process work, right, than before. Like, you see, it doesn't even fit. And so I would have to sand that down to fit that. So again, playing a bit more with tolerances, leaving a bit more clearance. So this will actually just sit on there. And then when I'm carving this out to make it so that these fit, I was getting, you know, gaps, and then it would slide in even further, which then affects overall the width of it. So it's those sort of things that sort of slowly degrade the integrity of the design itself. So again, like being able to, this one here broke, so that's why it fits there now. This other side does not want to fit. All right, so again, some of that is just how it warps. So here, yeah, if I push that on, because I'm not really concerned about these breaking, but they fit all right, but this side here won't fit. And this was printed like with this on the bottom, and then it printed up. So this wants to fold over on that. There was a support in there, and these supports, they leave a little bit too much material behind. So maybe a better slicer would fix that. I don't know. But again, this is all a part of the learning process, part of the experimentation with it. Here I have like the area, right, for the fan that I had. Like, I would have liked to sort of put on. So, you know, the fan would have sat on that and like blown air in. But again, all these cables here are going to just be right in that fan. It's hard enough keeping the cables out of this little fan here. So, but overall, it's just being able to even thin out this this wall so that the fan would be able to sit a little further out to give a little bit better clearance. I'm pretty sure like with a custom cable, it would be a lot nicer. It could fold right over underneath, be a lot more flexible than these ketchup and mustard cables. So there's a lot of quality of life improvements that could go into this. But overall, I'm very happy. Just, it was such a great learning experience, and it was a lot of fun. And I can't wait to like design another one. I do want to design another one. I want to sort of kind of explore. Before I started exploring other materials, I want to get a little bit of more of a handle on printing with PLA. It's a very beginner friendly, so if you're just doing basic prints, it's great. But I want to get a little bit more into the annealing of it, because when you anneal PLA, it has really great properties. As far as just like how strong it becomes, the layer adhesion, and also the heat resistance. So PLA, they say it structurally, it has structural integrity up to 60 degrees Celsius. But apparently after you anneal it, it has structural integrity up to like 150 degrees Celsius. So that's a pretty cool, not pretty cool, that's a pretty hot operating temperature that you can have around it. Which is higher than like the standard ABS and nylon, I believe. So And those are sort of the ones that everybody's like, these are the best materials to be having. So like printing this out of ABS would probably be better, especially if I had like a much higher heat output on the GPU. But I'm thinking like it would be nice to have like maybe even like a one of those 4060s that are like super low profile, like a half height 4060, or like a ATX, or there's even like a half height A380 potentially. But I am looking at running a Linux system on this. I know I booted up with a Windows install, but I want to run a Linux system on this. So I don't think the Linux system would work well with the Intel GPU yet. Not really sure. I don't know if there's any Linux people out there watching. Please let me know what the compatibility with Linux drivers is like. But yeah, just I'm really happy with it. A lot of room for improvement, but overall I'm very happy. And two, like the melt inserts, trying to put those in, I butchered it on this piece. This is the first piece that I tried putting them in, and the one side I actually had to super glue it in because I was like, this is not gonna work. So there we have it. Done and dusted. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for hopping in and for saying hello. KMed, PCMR, Empire, Annie, thank you guys for stopping in. Really, really appreciate it. It's so much fun being able to like share this with other people, especially other people who are like interested in it or even just like curious about it too. So it's been a blast. I can't wait to figure out the next project. There's a ultimate project which is like replacing my Thermaltake P3 with a case that sits right on my wall, printed, and that will be quite the project, let me tell you. But for now, I might be looking at another smaller case, even with like a shorter GPU, and maybe then adding maybe the same size but like a smaller GPU with a little bit more space added in as a result of that for like just cable movement or cable management, etc. So we shall see. I may even like take some of these out and do a bit more bending on them to get them in the right position, just so they're not sticking out too much. Maybe bundling some of this together because yeah, it is a bit of a mess. But overall, a lot of fun, and I just want to say thank you guys again. I hope you all have a great night. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. It was a blast having you all by, and yeah, I'll keep you posted on any new stuff. And if anyone's interested in the STL files, I'm more than happy to share them. They're, you know, they're not perfect, so I wouldn't even think of charging money for them. And two, it's more about the learning experience. So yeah, let me know. And also, yes, be sure to hit the like button on the video, especially if you liked it. Maybe consider subscribing if you want to see more of this content. I am planning on doing some more of this content. It's going to be mostly gaming content because this kind of content can get pricey. Printing another one is not going to be pricey. I might print another one just with more thought put into quality of life. But yeah, I'm just sort of trying to figure out what next steps as far as next project. But I think I'm gonna try running this even just in the living room and see how it goes. If I run into problems with it, then we'll deal with it. But yeah, hope you all have a great night though, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.